Hey, how's it going, YouTube friends? It's me, your healing big cat host, Never. And you're watching The Never Show. Yes, the only show with lemon-scented limes, lest I forget. And the only show with a supernatural, super awesome third eye. I mean, why ask? Why wouldn't you want a third eye? I'm just going to say right off the bat, I'm sorry for being so sloshy on Thor Ragnarok, but there was a lot of cold medicine running through my veins right then. And I just really wanted to make sure I got out a video. Before you go, whoa, Neb, you're doing a movie review on Friday. I feel like I did you a wrong last week for not having a movie review. Black Friday shouldn't be an excuse for me to, skip out on you guys. So for doing you wrong, I'm going to do you right here and give you another movie review this week. So let's get right into that. And today's movie is Justice League. It is a PG-13 movie. It is 2 hours exactly. Before we get into why I like it and dislike it, I'm just going to say there are some problems with this movie. Our director was Zack Snyder. Chris Terrio did the screenplay with Josh Whedon. There's so many created by characters here that I'm going to skip over this because I could be reading forever. If you guys want to look it up, IMDb, because God's sakes, Bob Kane, Don Cameron, all these people, Jack Kirby, Mort Wessinger, Mary Wolfman, Robert Kingston, blah, and Paul Norms, they all created the different characters, and I'd be reading for an hour. Okay, let's get into cast. Cast was Ben Affleck as Batman. My problem with Ben Affleck as Batman is he doesn't have the broad shoulders. He's a very tall, slim man, whereas Christian Bale is a very broad-shouldered guy, and he doesn't need funny voice alteration things in his masks to make him sound more like Batman, whereas Ben Affleck does. Henry Cavill as Superman. Now, I know what you're saying. You kind of skimped on the Superman-Batman thing, and I hated that movie. Batman with guns is just not what I was into, and it just really felt very petty. Amy Adams is Lois Lane. I feel like a lot of the women were pushed to the side in this one, and so for Gal Gadot as well. Ezra Miller is the Flash / Barry Allen. I felt like they picked a very immature, and they tried to very Spider-Man him. The Flash is very immature for a character. He's always saying things that are slightly inappropriate. Beep, beep, Richie, beep, beep. They all float down here. Jason Momoa, I believe, is Aquaman. I feel like Jason is the sort of, cast type character for Aquaman. He does have the very look for him. I mean, but then you go from the classic Aquaman, who is a blonde-haired, very buff guy, to this, and I kind of like where they've cast him. Ray Fisher is Cyborg, aka Victor Stone. I like what they did with the Cyborg here. But the early suit was kind of, you know, you didn't have that visual connection that you would with some of the more cartoony, memorable cartoony versions of him, which was the Cyborg from the original Teen Titans animated series, which he had the very blue suit, which he was very red here. And it didn't really, I had a hard time connecting. And God forbid anybody ever mentions Teen Titans Go. I think that show is trash. Ruined a great series. Can't put kids in danger. Jeremy Irons is Alfred. Dana Lane as Martha Kent. Chappelle Nelson as Queen Hippothea. J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. Craig Hinders as Steppenwolf. I like Craig Hinders as Steppenwolf. He has a great voice for this character. The character itself was very lackluster. For a DC villain, you know, he's not the Joker. And people were upset about this because they wanted one of those nice convoluted things where you had to kind of chase it around. This one was very straightforward. The villain was super straightforward, you know, and I'll cover the rest of that when I get to it. So that was our cast first build. Let me move on to today's production companies are. And the production companies are Warner Brothers Pictures, Alias Entertainment, Cruel Usual Films, DC Comics, DC Entertainment, Dune Entertainment. Our distributor here in the good old United States of America was Warner Brothers Productions. I'm going to cover the special effects because I only have 2 listings for this one, which is quite odd. Usually there's quite a few more. Weta Workshop and Sony Pictures Imageworks. My thoughts on the movie. It's a good movie. It's got a very simple plot, though. It's a one-way street, and you know, it's not very big. Character development, on the other hand, you know, Bruce Wayne and you know, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, all coming together seems to be the big drive together to beat Steppenwolf, which he's not a very two-dimensional villain. He's a very one-dimensional. His big game is bring 3 magic cubes together to take over the world. Supposedly his axe, if you were struck by it, would turn you into one of his minions, but in the movie we don't see that. We only hear it mentioned by Gal Gadot, aka Wonder Woman, and it kind of left me feeling kind of empty, you know. Felt like, well, we mentioned a power here, but where does it go? This is the problem with DC movies. They seem to know where they want to go, but they just have a hard time getting there. This is that was my biggest problem with Batman versus Superman. I also liked Suicide Squad, but I felt like the villains didn't need to really get anywhere. And you kind of knew that they were going to get, well, how do I put this gently? Because I don't want to, because I have to be careful, family friendly, you know, YouTube time. They weren't going to get the best deal in the end, and you kind of knew it. So that's the way I feel about that. You know, they bring back some really good names for this. It's a decent movie. For 2 hours, it doesn't let down. There is a good action. The cast seems to meld well together. I love the visual style. I feel like the Flash's outfit was a little underwhelming, though. It seems very piecemeal together, whereas everybody else is so polished. But then they tried to Peter Parker the Flash, which it doesn't work out. You know, the Flash, he's very immature, even in the comics and everything else, because he's, you know, so fast that he's quicker than everybody else. I know that makes it feel weird, and I like his immaturity in the cartoons and comics, but when he's younger, it just seems he's more annoying and less unfocused. Ray Fisher as Cyborg, I love where he was going. He seemed like the right voice, the right character. He actually went in and watched maybe some of the older Teen Titan movies or something, and some of the Young Justice and things like that, and really got a feel for the character. And I really connected with him, you know, who really is the monster things, which I really liked. That said, I'm going to cut this one right to the quick. Do I see this as a theater rewatch again? Nah. It's always a challenge with DC movies, and once through is enough for me. I am going to recommend this as a Redbox rental because you're going to want to see this when it comes out. Definitely a TV watch. Can't wait to see when this shows up on TV. Just to be honest with you. DVD buy, gonna pass. Definitely a rental, but I'm going to pass on this one. So if you like what you see in here, please click that like button down below. It means so much to me. And remember, all comments are 100% guaranteed response. Tell me your realities, your fan fictions, anything you want. Spill your guts out. Just keep it real. I can smell a lie like a fart in a smart car. Please no links, as always. Also, with YouTube Ad Apocalypse version 3 going on, I got to ask you, can you please think about sponsoring the channel? We have a Patreon. We could really use your patronage. You don't realize how little I have to do so much with. If you want to see more of this nonsense, please click that subscribe button and that little bell icon.
Ding.
And I will see you all in the next movie review. Bye.